Hello, welcome.
Good to see you.
So, good to see you. And we were just kicking off with not the easiest topic on earth, because we looked earlier at how disruptive this is going to be. And it's not easy because, in a way, you're asking us to guess the future. And even if we have examples and patterns from the previous industrial revolutions, it is still guessing. We need to put a finger up there and see what's going on. But we said it is an industrial revolution, and we need to get prepared for it because it's going to release unprecedented productivity, and it's going to massively disrupt many sectors. So, in order to help me understand those aspects in the market, I am joined here by three distinguished guests that Sotiris just introduced, and I'm going to shoot some questions to you, gentlemen. Did you warm up, or? Absolutely. I should start with you then. So, Hideas, it's a little bit the AI Far West out there. Every single day there are projects, there are features that are released, and I'm very curious to understand how a corporation like Vodafone is making sense in this madness, because you have to maintain several objectives. You're a private firm, you need to release productivity, you need to keep your customers happy, and you need to train and maintain your staff up to date with what's happening out there in the market. So how do you guys do it?
Well, not very successfully so far, I have to say, to be honest. And I'll give you a funny story, because when AI became a hot topic, it was, I think, about 12 months ago or something, about a year ago, when it really started showing basically the signs and the potential it had. We approached it in the classic Vodafone way, which means we need to create structure, governance, hierarchy. It needs to be controlled by the group ExCo with authorities and 15 layers between the ExCo and the person that actually is doing the work. Classic Vodafone, classic big corporate, I would say. Yeah, any corporate has the same type of structure, which is a good thing in some respects, but not a good thing with AI. And then we said, okay, we'll create a strategy and so on and so forth. And we quickly realized that actually this thing is developing so quickly that every week we had a new topic, every week we had a new possibility, every week we had a new segment to deal with, let's say. So we reverted back, and I think we're doing the right thing at the moment, which I call coordinated chaos. And what do I mean by coordinated chaos? I mean that we are developing a sense of direction. What do we want to get out of AI over the next 2 years? And 2 years is a long time frame. We usually plan 5 years, but with AI we said maximum 2 years. Where do we believe we can get the biggest gains? And we're focusing on very specific areas. So to give you an example, one area that we're really focusing on is around customer insight and becoming a lot more intimate with our customers. The second is around productivity, where there are components within the way we serve our customers. So we already have a lot of digital assets supporting our customers, but they can become a lot smarter, and therefore, ultimately, the aim is to have a lot less human interaction with our customers when it comes to supporting our customers. IT, we believe a lot in the capability of AI to support us in enhancing our IT capabilities significantly. One of the biggest constraints that we have as a technology company is we cannot find enough engineers. We believe that this can actually help us scale up our IT capabilities. So these are the 3 areas that we've already, if you like, focus on, but it starts from there. But the coordinated chaos comes from the fact that we are actually experimenting a lot with this. So we are letting go, and that's a difficult thing for a company like Vodafone, to let go of the control of some of the experimentation, because a lot of it buys you speed, but you may make mistakes. But I think that's the right way to deal with it, because this thing moves so fast that unless you actually start experimenting and failing and re-experimenting and so on and so forth, you will never be able to catch up, if you like, with the developments. So that's in a nutshell what we do and how we manage it.
And do you do this at the Romanian entity level, or you have guidance from corporate? How do you split things between Your entity and what's coming at a global level?
So the entity has the power to choose, the freedom to choose, if you like, which of the areas am I going to be involved with. And for example, on customer insight and customer operations, we are very heavily involved. But it differs from market to market depending on the market needs. So there is a central coordination, let's say, of all the experiments that are happening and the areas of focus, but each market is picking up, if you like, their own priorities. And in some respects, for two of the initiatives, for example, we lead on behalf of group. So what happens in Romania will be replicated if successful in other markets.
Okay, thank you. You didn't see Alex nodding his head when you said, I don't have enough engineers. And he was like, okay, I'm taking notes. So Alex, there are many guys out there talking about AI, but you at ZTech, you're actually implementing projects all over Romania as we speak. And I'm curious to understand what's your lessons learned out of this? What are the challenges? What are the patterns you're seeing in the collaboration, both with public and private entities?
Well, there are quite a lot of Romanian companies that specialize in this, so that's good for us as a country. However, I would say we are still fighting an education battle. Will the managers truly understand how AI can actually change their business or not? I mean, at the end of the day, AI is not here since 2 years. We have delivered, for instance, AI in healthcare in US like 15 years ago, predicting outcomes for all sorts of serious conditions like, I don't know, heart disease or Hodgkin's lymphoma and others. And that was pure AI. Right now, it's the Gen AI that is it's bringing more popularity because, well, you can see it, you can play with it, so therefore it exists. If you cannot see it, it's too technical, only the geeks will know, right? But I think it's only making this obvious. As a manager, you need to understand more about technology. And I would say we do have some success examples in Romania with companies, non-tech, building their own IT teams for data analytics and for AI, but they are, I think they are rather exceptions rather than the norm. Most of the companies don't even have the budget to start thinking about an R&D team around that. And others are still pondering, okay, maybe in my business I don't have anything to do with AI. Meanwhile, we are delivering more to Western customers. We are predicting the car resale prices for northern customers for the entire Europe. We are predicting maybe default rates, and probably we'll hear more about that. I will not go into the financial topic. The specialist is here. And in Romania, not so much. We are still waiting to see, okay, how will I approach this in my company? The funny fact is that the government is actually adopting AI much faster than the private sector. We were fortunate enough, for instance, to deliver 2 models to 2 ministries so far, the Defense Ministry and the Environment Ministry. I will just give you an example on the second one because we have some hard data. Did you know that our forests, the Romanian forests, were guarded by 5 clerks that were supposed to monitor 1.5 million pictures per month? That's how our forests were protected and are still protected. With AI, we made that maybe more palatable. I'm not saying it's still done, completed, whatever, but obviously from a no-go to, hey, we actually know 2,500 cases where people should be fined or actually imprisoned for what they did. You can do that with AI in a couple of days. So the government is doing that, and they have found very, very useful cases. I mean, I hope it's not just because we have big elections this year. I hope. I'm an optimist, but we'll see.
So, did I get it right? The public sector is moving much faster than the private sector in Romania so far.
Not as an average. I mean, if we do an average, we have a lot of people in the public sector.
On this topic. So, a related question. Are you considering yourself an AI evangelist in Romania? And what do you think are the next steps we need in order to elevate the education on this topic?
Well, I don't think technology should be promoted for the sake of technology, though AI is basically getting that these days, right? It's AI, so therefore it's good. The paradigm of developing AI into your business, it's a bit different. I mean, before, you would do something like an if-then. So you would know pretty much the budget and pretty much the delivery date. most of the times, not always, right, in software projects. But with AI, nobody can even guarantee that she's going to work at the end. And that's a new idea. You actually need to budget ready to fail. It's a bit different.
Thank you, Alex. Christoph, you're a startupper, yeah? I call that a bit of a troublemaker that tries to shake the established rules. And in Christoph's case, we're talking about the global financial markets. We're talking about assets under management. It's a very small business of $100 trillion out there. But what I'm curious to know is, give us a flavor of what's happening on the trading floors in Geneva, where you are, in London, in New York, in Singapore. What can we learn around the shaking of the financial markets by AI?
Yeah, I would not call me a troublemaker. I would more say I'm an innovator. But just to talk, to give you a little bit of grasp where I'm coming from. I'm born in a little village in Bavaria, and my passion was always stock markets. So I saw the little guy in the village investing in stocks in the early 90s, and I ended up working for one of the largest US institutions and Swiss institutions, consulting the richest families on the planet, on the family office side and on the ultra side, and I can compare both sides pretty well. And I can say it's not much a difference if you're a billionaire or a little guy. Things are very tough out there for the investor side, and the key element when you talk trading floors, and the goal for me is to give you three very easy tips, let's say, which you can take out of my 5 minutes. And the first tip is, don't invest on the short run. You have no chance. If you go in a casino nowadays, you have better odds than you play on the short side on the markets. Never bet against the huge trading floors, the apps that are out there. You all have it probably already on the smartphones with some crypto apps, with some Trade Republic or Robinhood apps. On the short term, like day trading, you will not make money. You can make money, then you have luck, like in the casino. But on the long side, it's very, very hard. You have real-time analytics tools. They do it in milliseconds. They scan all the markets, all the volatility, all the volumes, and they are much smarter, much faster than you. But I have 2 more tips, probably on the next question, where you can make a lot of money.
Okay, so every time I see somebody working on
let's keep doing this.
That's the point. When I see somebody working on those markets, my instinct is, okay, how can we make money out of this? So give us the tips. Yeah,
the second tip is a very, very common knowledge tip from the richest guy on the planet. When he was asked, and he now had a couple of my friends was in Omaha when he hosted the Berkshire Hathaway Summit, and it's a very simple tip. They ask him, "Why are you so rich?" And he said, "Yeah, it's very simple. Everybody wants to get rich quick, and I want to get rich slow." And that's my second point. We are, as we talk, as you said it in your presentations, the 4th industrial revolution. We are in the first inning. The last 12 months, and I know a couple of you here in the audience, I was very optimistic on the next wave with AI already 12 months ago. And you saw it in the last 12 months. The venture capitalists look for 10x in private markets. You can have 10x in the last 12 months on public markets. Very, very rare occasion. I was a kid of the dot-com area, 1996 to the 2000. 2000 we IPO'd a company, and then we had 3 years of a downtrend. You know the dot-com crash. And at the moment, we are in a very unique situation where industry is shifting to a new paradigm. The US investors, the profi investors are invested heavily already, and I think the mainstream investors are coming now. And that's why I'm a little bit afraid, because I was in Hamburg on a very large exhibition 2 weeks ago, and there was a couple of really smart guys, and one said, Gardner, one of the global forecasters, that the AI adoption phase It's not in the beginning, it's already at peak. Gen AI on the markets, already at peak. Sam Altman from OpenAI said, no, that's not true, it's not, the big wave is coming already. So for me, the second tip is, don't go there where everybody is standing. If you invest on the long run, invest in high quality, invest regularly, and invest in the products you have from, of course, with a huge tech focus, but don't go to the most crowded trade. And the third part, and I think my 5 minutes are already over, has nothing much to do with AI, because I think nobody in the room will go in a trading floor and build the next big AI tool. We ask our AI in the beginning, predict NASDAQ returns. And we put 6 months of development in, and it was a very simple answer the AI gave us. Just invest on the long run. Stock markets just go up. Because if you look at the stock markets over 100 years, they just go up. So for you, just put the money in the market. The rest will do capitalism, because capitalism is growing. Money is growing, economies are growing. As long as we grow, stock markets will grow. And the third and last tip, invest in the next generation. In your kids, in your family, treat them how capitalism works. I was a student in the US, I was a student here in Europe. The US guys teach their kids how the economy works, how financial market work, how central banks work. I guess a lot of people here in the room are not perfectly trained how capitalism is working on the basic principles, how the central system works. If you understand that, you all get rich.
So, gentlemen, an open question for the three of you. I have one frustration, and I need your guidance. I said it in my presentation, all this innovation comes mainly from US and more from Asia, and Europe is lagging behind. In this environment, there are two ways in front of a firm. I externalize all this production to the big guys in US, to GAFAM, and I take advantage of the economy of scale and the best features in the market, but it's all out there somewhere in the cloud or elsewhere. Or, second path, I keep this in-house, I tailor the services, I have the knowledge in-house, I have the IP, and I'm going to do it on my own. And don't answer, it's going to be a balance. Make me understand or give examples of how would you take this? Whoever wants to go first.
So I'll go first. So first of all, I believe in Europe we've lost the first boat already, which is why we, for example, Vodafone is partnering with the big tech guys in the US. We signed a very large multi-year deal with Microsoft, and it's a very deep partnership where actually they are the primary provider, if you like, of some of the AI experimentation that we do. I'm also not very happy and optimistic with the intent to regulate in Europe. It's, for me, regulation, the type of regulation I've seen is regulation in fear of AI, and regulation trying to control AI. And in the US, I see the opposite. I see actually more liberation and more freedom to actually experiment. You're going to ask me which camp is right. Well, I think the financial markets probably teaches us which camp is right of the two. So for me, we've lost the first wave, let's say, if there are waves. If we can accelerate and gain speed and actually catch up with the US, it will depend on the regulation that we see going forward. The market integration, because the other thing that the US has is scale. And if you look at any industry in Europe, telecoms is a prime example of that. We lack scale because Europe is fragmented. Therefore, if we don't have the scale and if we don't recognize in Europe that actually the future requires scale, and we don't actually, do the deep changes that are needed in our economies to create one truly integrated European economy, I think we'll keep missing out. So regulation and scale, in my opinion, will make or break Europe in the next years.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that, on us winning that contest. Europe will regulate and Romania will over-regulate. That's one thing. Second is, in order to do AI locally, you need to have a cloud, because you need a lot of computing power to play with those models. We had a chance to have a national cloud, and we don't anymore. The government has spent the money on some data centers that are not going to be used as cloud for that. So there is no computation power. We do have some data centers here and there in Romania. It's not like we don't, but you need a different level of, a different order of magnitude in order to compete at that level. So, and more than that, in order to do AI, you need technical talent, which we have. Yes, it's difficult to hire, but you can still find talent. But it's not enough to have a team of talented engineers to play with the model. They also need access to the data. They also need to train their models. And you need big companies that have a lot of data points, and they need to understand and either do that internally or in a partnership with a company that specializes in that in order to stand a chance. And then you need to have the budget. Therefore, a management and a board that understands, hey, we need to do this, otherwise we're going to be toast. So if you put all of that in perspective, I hope we're going to have, you know, one Romanian unicorn doing it. Everybody hopes that. I wouldn't bet on it.
Thank you. Christoph?
Yeah, as an investor, I of course play the US card on how far away they are, and I'm fully with you that the first wave is the cards are already played. But I'm very, very optimistic on Europe on the second wave. The Americans are very quick, but they are very, let's say, too quick sometimes, and we are more detailed, more sophisticated. There was a nice chart on where are the best AI developers in the world, and that's Germany actually. I didn't know that. From a know-how perspective, in combination with the surroundings, of course, a lot is shifted to the US, but I think there are good chances that continental Europe has a huge card to play when it comes to the real adoption now for the systems. I'm very afraid when it comes to social media, TikTok with AI, that's the biggest threat for me for humanity.
And maybe another question for the three of you. Okay, it's about business, but it's not just about business. It's also about our private life, it's about our families, it's about our children, it's about ethics. So I would ask each of you are you cautious? Are you optimistic? What's your personal sense on the future with AI or the future in the hands of AI?
As I said, we are from a capitalism, from a economic standpoint. For me, these are the roaring 20s. I mean, my granddad was in that time in the real roaring 20s, and we know how they ended with 1929 with the global stock market crash. So for me, the next years are really boosting. The global economy is really boosting. The biggest threat, as I said, the next generation is so heavily already on digitalized with AI, they're even more freaked on all these things. And the biggest risk for me is cybersecurity, which is a huge topic in every industry. When you see how good OpenAI announced the new ChatGPT-4 like 2 weeks ago, when it's not an app you talk, you chat. It's like behind us, and we can chat with this interrupting you. And
do you use it?
I mean, we are using GitHub for programming from Microsoft, as every decent developer is doing, and it's already here.
Would you let children use it in school?
I mean,
mine are.
My little one is 2 years old, so I cannot talk about that. But I think, of course, it will go into education. But that's for me, of course, like the car. When the horses went away and car was introduced, biggest risk was accidents. And the same is now with AI. The tools come and the security standards needs the level of the technology.
I think definitely the paradigm has shifted. And look, I'm using my kids to sometimes help me detect if a picture is AI generated or not. And they are much better than me. They are being taught that in school. They are trained to do that. They know about it. They are aware. So I think, yes, maybe we are a bit scared when we are seeing a deep fake or when we are seeing a Gen AI image. I think the next generation will be fine. I mean, we do have a lot of knives in the house, right? We can do nasty things with them. We can injure ourselves, or we can cook. It's the same thing with AI.
Sounds like I need to be recruiting your children, but yeah.
Yeah, good luck. I'm also trying to make them do anything. So.
I will echo what the guy said. I mean, I think it's, we will reach a point of new balance. I am, to be honest, scared about what education will look like in the future and how will we train the workforce of the future. You know, my generation, you know, we've gone through university training and then years of experience on the job, which allows you to make the right judgments and so on and so forth. With AI, all of this goes away. So the question is, how do you breed the next CEOs? That's an internal debate we have. You know, how do you breed the next CEO if actually the career path is completely different? But I think ultimately we'll find the balance as with every change, every big change that has happened across humanity. There may be some accidents. So we have to pray that the accidents are small and not large. But I think we will find a balance eventually.
The three of them sound very optimistic. Unfortunately, there's a clock putting pressure on us over here, so we won't have time to take questions from the audience this time. The panelists are available during the breaks to exchange with you, and please join me in thanking them for their contribution today, because it is a challenging topic. It's a bit like the internet at the beginning of the 90s, and it's up to all of us to learn and to know how to take advantage of those new opportunities. Thank you very much, gentlemen.